So I will start the recording then. I'll just record it and let's have a look what happens. So one of the things that I would probably suggest is try and avoid using these sites, purely because they give you information that you don't really need. Like especially when you're in these lower elos and everybody's kind of playing their own game and people don't understand how certain things work and other things happen, stuff like that. It's kind of like you want to just abuse the game based on the information that the game gives, because that's going to be a lot more reliable, right? Because let's say, for example, we see, oh, this top laner's just lost 5 games in a row, but that was like when he was super tired at like 2 a.m. in the morning, but he's actually like a smurf on the account or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, then we'd be like, oh, he's on a 5 loss streak, we should camp him, and then he's going to destroy us, but...
The main thing as a jungle, what I have found out or what I look from, for example, Polar Professor, is that how many games this player has played this champion. So can I rely on that he is probably using his mechanics correctly, or do I have to be a little bit aware that if he has only few games? But of course, there's a lot of Smurf accounts, and I don't think that the information or data is always correct. But
Yeah.
when I see that, for example, enemy jungle has a lot of games and good KDA, I'm not going to think that he will do silly mistakes, or I pay more attention where the jungle could be like given the information that he should have on my position.
Okay. So, one of the biggest things is can you beat Wukong in a 1v1 early? What do you think?
Yes, of course, depends on the Wukong how he uses his clone, but there are a couple matchup which Darius cannot beat, which is of course Olaf and Trundle early level because they have a lot of damage. But because of the keystone, this in this game is Conqueror, but usually with the uh, what is it called?
Lethal tempo.
Yeah, because that gives attack speed and it's more valuable than the little AD in all in 1v1.
Okay.
This Darius will beat basically all the champions excluding the
Okay,
top.
so if you know that you win
Yeah.
a 1v1 with him, then how come we're starting bot side?
The reasoning for me starting bot side is only because of the red buff. I like to do 3 camps at red buff. Either is it bot or top, depending which side I'm playing, and
Okay.
then go for a play in mid lane or bot lane or top lane, depending where my 3 camps are left. So, for example, this game I'm starting bot. After 3 camps, I'm looking gank a mid or gank a top, because then I can fall back to my jungle with not worrying that my jungle camps would be countered or counter jungled.
Okay.
And because of the Darius bleed damage, as a champion, you can do any clear path you like. So if there is no play in mid or in top, then I can full clear 315 and go for the scandal.
Yeah, so the thing is here, what you want to be doing is, because you can clear by 315, you want to be clearing at the same rate the enemy jungler is, right? Like, not rate, but like, so he's going to start here because he has a Mundo top. So it's like, there's no way he doesn't. Well, I mean, he should start here, right? Now, obviously, I haven't seen this game, so I don't know what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
But logically, he should start from top side, get a leash from a Mundo, path down into bot lane, try and use the fact that Pantheon and Heimerdinger have a ridiculous amount of CC, which can be used to get some early advantages. Now, what you should be doing then is you need to go, okay, well, if you can win this 1v1, so if the 1v1 is a win, so a tick, then do they win the 2v2? What do you think?
I think they will lose the 1v1 because Kaisa in early is a weak champ.
No, Kaiser's not weak early at all. Kaiser's really, really strong early. The issue that a lot of Kaiser players make is that they queue the enemies when it's inside the wave, where you shouldn't. What you should do is you clear the wave off, and then as the wave is clearing off, then you engage on them so you can get all your damage on them. So the Senna also has really, really long range. So ideally, the Pantheon shouldn't be able to touch her if she plays it right. So these are the things you have to consider before the game has even started. Now Heimerdinger as well. Heimerdinger is less of a proactive damage dealer, and he's more of a reactive damage dealer. So as soon as people jump onto him, he uses all them. Now luckily, you have a lot of AoE in you, and you can also smite too, if needs be. But what that means is they technically should win the 2v2.
Well, the Heimerdinger will get the push, in my opinion, no matter what. Of course, Pantheon is a melee champion, which would give the advantage to Kaisa and Senna, but because of the towers...
So he does get a push, but what happens with Heimerdinger is he pushes it in, but then he doesn't really fight too much.
Yes.
And especially pre-6. At 6 he can do a lot more. And so he just pushes in, he doesn't really fight. Now, if the Kaiser and Senna aren't able to clear out those towers, then their lane is going to be really, really difficult. Like, really, really hard. So, part of your job is to go down, get summoners, even if it's just a flash from them, get those summoners, and then basically clear away all of his towers. Once you've done that, they have a much easier lane. And then, if we win the 1v1 here, and they win the 1v2, then we win the 3v3, right?
Yes, when played correctly.
But...
That is the reasoning.
Yeah, but, you know, like, when you're thinking of these early plans, you have to really think out if it's played correctly. You can't really assume that somebody's not going to play correctly until it happens. Now, if we look vice versa, we have a Lilia top against a Mundo. Now, is Wukong ever going to go to this Mundo lane? Do you think? Should he ever?
Well, Lilia, in my opinion, should win the lane 1v1 or at least have the priority to react on plays on the map. I think there is possibility, but of course much more successful when they are both level 6, because the Mundo can give the slow, because Lilia usually the problem is that you can't catch her, and Wukong doesn't have CC until 6, so I think at level 6.
Okay, so I don't think he can ever really come top.
Yeah.
Like, never really. Because obviously you have Mundo into Lilia. Like you said, Lilia will always get away. Mundo doesn't have any hard CC that's easy to land. And Wukong's going to struggle to get close to its CC. Plus, also, this Mundo is a tank. So, he is going to be tanky throughout the game, no matter what. So you don't need to put resources into him. You need to put resources into your bot lane, because as soon as he puts resources into them, then they're going to at least do a ton of damage, which then means that he doesn't have to tank as long. So now we have decided that Wukong should never go towards top. So if he starts, say, is blue down here now, then this is just a huge mistake by him. Like, huge mistake. So what we should be doing in this game is we need to go, okay, well, based on this information and the fact that I've got Lily atop, which you can't really gank a Lily atop. Like, you can't gank for it because unless this Mundo is really griefing the game, you're never really going to get anything because your E probably isn't going to be enough to lock the Mundo down because of his passive. So do you know what his passive does?
Yes.
Yeah, so he will negate one piece of CC.
Yes.
So because you only have one, you should never ever ever be going towards top here. So you should be starting here, and then if you want a full clear, that's fine. Just full clear all the way down. The advantage to that as well is because you do your red buff last, you actually have your red buff longer in fights. So you'll be able to go and fight more, now your camps are down, and still have a red buff. Whereas the original clear that you're doing as well, red into top, so I presume you go here, here, and then up. So what ends up happening now is you doing that means that that entire path is your red buff just burning away. But you don't really need red buff to clear as Darius. So, yeah, so that's just kind of the early part thing. Obviously, these early kind of scenarios are one of the main things that you actually want to consider when you are thinking about where to path. So in like loading screen and stuff like that, those are the things you want to kind of think of. Because right now you're going to full clear and then you're not going to be able to do anything. And then your camps still aren't going to be available for a little bit.
Yeah. But of course in this game the Wukong will start blue buff.
Okay, so that's bad by him, but...
Yes. I see your point that you cannot rely on enemy mistakes every time.
So we get this, okay. So one of the first things here is kite your red earlier. Make it walk a bit more. So this is fine. But like earlier, kite it here too. Like even though your bot lane are there, it doesn't matter. Your goal is to basically play for yourself. Start kiting it around. Because you're just taking loads of hits here. Where it should be hit and then walk. And then hit and then walk. So like you're doing here, but throughout the entire time. Then you'll save HP. Okay. Killed them all at the same time, which is good. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. So one of the kind of first things is how can you look at Yasuo quicker?
Yeah, I know about the F keys. I have tested them years ago, but for me, when I'm basically looking the minimap a lot, I usually just confirm my information with the minimap mouse click.
Yeah, so that's don't do that because it takes up more time that you don't need, and it means that you can't constantly look over lanes enough because you won't be able to kite and do that. So F keys might be a little bit awkward at first, but force yourself to learn them because they're going to be incredibly valuable. They're very, very good. So I 100% recommend getting used to them.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that of course, when you are using, when person is using F keys, it doesn't like mean that you couldn't use the minimap mouse. But sometimes when I was testing the F keys, I didn't see the whole wave, so I couldn't see where the wave is going. So
yeah, so what you can do is you can F key over and then just quickly nudge the screen and you can see.
Yeah, I see.
It's just much quicker. Plus, then your mouse stays where it needs to be. Okay, so I'd see where we should be kiting this camp about as well. Then this gank is... like in theory this gank shouldn't work. Yeah. So, what do you think the problem is with doing this?
Do you mean trading the ghost for flash, or do you mean just...
No, I mean just going to it. Sure, we get the Yasuo's flash, which is a value, but this Z is super low anyway.
Yes.
So he's not really going to be able to jump in earlier. And sure, we get flash for Ghost, that's fine. But now the Z is still kind of in the exact same position he was before, really. Because Yasuo's E means that he doesn't really need his flash in his laning phase anyway. So now Zed is kind of in the exact same position that he was before, but we have only cleared 3 of our camps. So we've only cleared these, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that you have to do with your mindset in terms of ganks is you have to realize what a gank is. So how to put it? So a gank is like an investment.
Mm-hmm.
So you invest your time, your summoners, your effort into the lane in order to get a return. Now, if you're ganking a lane that was in the position that it was just then, where the return was very, very little for you and nothing else is going to really happen, then your priority should be to sequence your camps fully. So this is first fine, then we go here, then here, but instead of going this way, we should have gone like this, to our walls, up to our gromp, and then we take our blue, and then we can maybe fight in this area at level 4 with both buffs and both summoners. Or, sorry, your smite and your summoner, right? So if we also determine that we can 1v1 the Wukong, and evidently, because they pulled early, we now know, in-game, we have reliable information to prove that he is pathing upwards, we shouldn't ever really go for that mid-fight. Because our goal should be to kill the Wukong from this path that we did. So let's see what happens now, because you're also... Oh yeah, you do get your walls. Okay, good. So it's now nearly 3 minutes, and we still haven't cleared all our first camps. Because then what's going to happen now as well is this camp's going to spawn, this camp's going to spawn, and then this one's going to take ages because we went through here, right?
Yeah.
So now this next camp, we're going to be sat around waiting for it, which wolves give a ridiculous amount of XP. They're really, really good. So now these are going to spawn us soon. Neither is Gromp, which also gives a lot of XP for the speed that it takes. So yeah, we have delayed our next sequence as well, just for a flash of champion that doesn't really matter. I mean, the logic is somewhat good at a foundational level. So obviously you've got to gold 1 by doing things like this, which is completely fine. But now it's a case of, oh wait, what are we doing here?
Our blue buff got taken.
Okay.
The thing that will happened here, which only seen on the game board, is that the Wukong is pathing behind me now, and he is now in the bush.
Yeah. Okay.
And because I knew that I will win the fight against the Wukong, I just wanted to get this cuddle and then go back to my...
No. So see, this is kind of even a bigger issue, like an issue with you going mid as well. You've already invested into that mid. So now you have to continue investing in yourself. Because unless you invest gold into yourself, you're never going to be able to consistently climb or consistently carry games. Like, you are the most important factor with any solo queue game. Because it's only you that can improve on the things that you need to improve on. So, like, these situations are really, really bad because you invested into mid lane for no reason but whatever. Now you have to say, okay, well, I'm going to take that loss or take that the fact I didn't get anything out of mid. I'm going to continue doing what I should have been doing, and then I'm going to rethink about what I need to do. Because right here, it's like we go for a scuttle crab, and we knew that the Wukong was there, right?
Well, when the blue buff icon disappears, then I know that he's there.
Oh no, so you know right here. So did you see how your blue has changed target?
I didn't pay attention for that.
Oh, so yeah, so
Because I'm expecting that Wukong is in the pixel push, for
okay,
example.
yeah. So this is kind of one of those things where we're playing without information, and then because we're doing the same things every single game, we're not noticing these differences, right? So it's like right there, that was really, really obvious that he was on that blue buff. So we could have turned around. Now we should kill him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, nice. So in terms of how it was played,
Of course, Wukong should never be there, but
Wukong should have what?
Wukong should never have been at my blue buff, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but that'll happen constantly in these evos. So now we get Gromp. Yeah, this is where we start building into this. Obviously, this is where usually we'd go whip.
Yeah.
So another thing you can do as well in games like this is how long range do you think they are?
What do you mean how long range they are?
Like what are their range types? Are they ranged or melee?
Top, mid, and jungle are melee, and support is melee, and the hammer is range.
Yeah. So they're 4 melee, right? They're 4 super
Yes.
low range. So if they want to do damage to you or any of your team, they have to go melee with you. So what you can do is if you have like 3 or 4 melees on the enemy team, instead of going Strikebreaker, you can also go Gore Drinker. Because when you're in a team fight, they're all going to be on top of you, and you can Gore Drink on all of them at the same time. You can use the active. So this would have also been a good Gore Drinker game. Because that, along with your Q and stuff like that, you basically survive for ridiculous amounts of time. And obviously on Darius, you only really need to survive long enough to kill a single person in a team fight. Once that one person dies, you get resets, you go nuts.
Yeah, I see the thought process there.
Like, it's just that surviving for that first kill. And then you're in a really good position. So this is fine. So what do you think is one of the things that you could have been doing in this window, though? What do you think you should have been doing right now?
Well, I am currently looking at the minimap, but I'm just guessing that they are quite healthy. So
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
just keep pushing.
can you really see anything that's happening though on the minimap?
They are not on top of each other, of course, but of course, I would get more information by looking the lane.
Yeah. So you never get enough information just off the minimap. Like, the only real huge piece of information that you can get consistently is obviously where they are, stuff like that. But the only like meaningful is if they say use flash, you can see them flash on the minimap. But other than that, like, we couldn't. So keep an eye permanently, because if, say, for example, a fight broke out in bot lane while you're still doing that camp, you should instantly move to it, because you're in the area and you can win that fight. Okay, so we got that. So this is fine. So this gank is fine because it was free, you know?
Yep.
So it wasn't only an investment into the lane, it was still an investment into you. So that one is completely fine. So here, we take this and we should be looking in mid lane. So we should just be looking, because this looks like he's hard pushing this wave. And we don't know how much HP he has.
But he's probably not going to
Okay,
stay
so
to
he's
the
full.
tower, because he's level 5 and Zed is level 6.
Yeah, which is fine. But even just a quick look to see like how much HP he has. Because he could have been pushing that with like 2 HP. And we wouldn't have even known.
Yeah.
And then see here, like your Grump takes ages now. Because, so your Grump is going to take ages to respawn now because you have to clear it on a weird, really kind of weird moment. And let's see where, I mean, do we even kill this Mundo?
Of course we kill when Zed comes.
If, yeah, I mean, he has to really, really fuck up for this to work though, but I guess so. I guess he's level 5.
Yeah.
You should have just never really been that far up.
Yeah.
Like right here, like if he would have just ran to the wall, then he would have been fine, but it's fine. So now we clear our Grump away. Okay, so now we'll get our red 6, and we can look to, oh, that one. Then we can look to kill bot. So like here, see as well, we just didn't really look over mid. We could have maybe done something earlier.
Because well, in hindsight, in my opinion, not much.
Well, it depends, because at this point here, maybe.
What?
Like, well, we don't know. We're not looking.
Yeah.
You know? Like, because the TP came in, the fight was extended for quite a while.
Well, Zed was already half HP if he doesn't have cooldowns to get under the tower 3 against 1.
Yeah. But just, like, make sure you're looking at it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. If it would have not been this particular situation.
Yeah, even if it's something that might, like, there might be no point in going to, like, because what you can also do is you can also find out what was used here, right?
Yeah, that is
so
correct.
If we look, I think maybe Pantheon Flash there, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Maybe there was an Ignite or something like that, so then you can abuse that. Because now, like, we know Pantheon has no Flash, I think. So now we could have potentially abused him a bit. Yeah, so this wave is good. So why do you think he didn't want you to touch this wave?
He wanted to... I think that is not a freeze, but it's not, I think he wanted to build a slow push.
Yeah. So for a freeze, you'd need 3 melees here, and then 3 more casters, all full HP, and then it'd freeze. But yeah, you've only got casters. So this will stall the wave here, and then it will, turn it into a slow push, which when you're ahead, as a Z is, a slow push is really, really good for you.
Yeah, because then you can crash a bigger wave in the tower and either go for all-in or a poke.
Yeah. Okay. So now what should we be looking to do? What was your plan here?
Clearing camps efficiently and looking for top lane because they started fighting and they are both low. Zed doesn't have ultimate and...
Or the Herald. I mean, the Mundo is running it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Wukong, I guess.
Yeah. This Wukong doesn't know his limits.
Yeah. So another thing here, so this is an interesting point actually. So, right there, how many actual auto attacks do you think you used?
Against the Wukong?
Yep.
In
that window.
There's probably 2 auto attacks.
Yeah, should we count them? Look, so playback speed, let's go 0.25.
Yeah.
So we get the initial auto, which is fine. And then we get W, but that's a reset. So it's like, it's not really an auto for
Yes.
this, what we're saying. Then we get a Q.
Mhm.
Then we manage to get close. Get a smite off, which gets us an E. Very nice. Okay, auto in midair, but again, that's your reset time by the thingy. So what do you think I'm going to say about what happened here?
I don't know. A good
Okay.
kill.
So you had one auto, then you had W, which is an auto, but it doesn't count. Then
Cube.
you queued. Then you got your E.
Yeah.
And then you got one more AA, but it was with the A. So this whole sequence, so this time here was more than enough time for your auto attack to cool down. Because WQE fairly long. So how much during this sequence do you think you were getting from the attack speed?
Very little is
Yeah,
my thought process.
yeah, nothing at all. So we got nothing out of the attack speed here. So this is what I was saying at the start. Like, you had no problem whatsoever. Now, we're counted into a little bit, but
Yes.
still, it doesn't matter. That's going to happen all the time. So you managed to get all of that off without using any attack speed. So if that attack speed was in AD instead, then this fight wouldn't have even been as close, you know? So this is what I was saying with the item. Even though, like, at the moment, you're currently building the item purely for the dash.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make that much sense. Like, if you can use the dash and the stats, great. But as Darius, one of your main goals is to get HP. So why do you
Yeah.
think one of the main goals is for HP as well?
Because this champion really comes online with 5 stacks, so you
Yeah,
want to have HP left when you have 5 stack and not
Yeah.
only.
So that's the main reason. There's also other reasons as well. For example, when you are building these attack speed items, like, again, that base won't really do much and you get no HP, where the HP is great, but you still get that slow to be on top of them. And you can do even more damage because you get more AD, and again, it gets you to that 5 stacks quicker. But also, a lot of bruisers, how much gold do you think you get per level on a bruiser?
I think it's quite high. It might be something like 450 gold.
Okay, so I think Darius is, if I remember correctly, is actually more like 652.
Okay, so like almost like a 2 kills worth.
Yeah, over 2 kills. So the range goes from about 500 to, I think, 652 or 53, something like this. It's in this area anyway. So you get roughly 2 kills worth of gold for every level that you're up anyway. So it's like you also get so many resistances through levels alone that pure HP is really, really good for you.
I see.
Because you end up way, way, way tankier. Okay, so now we get the Herald, which is good. And then Yasuo, we're never getting him, so no point. Get Grump. Okay, so this, yeah, we shouldn't even try running down to this one. Just because we have so much gold that we just shouldn't be there anyway.
Yeah, because has no ultimate and
Yeah.
doesn't have items. So
Yeah. Also, one more thing about Gale Force specifically too is, do you know how the damage of Gale Force has worked out?
when you activate it, prioritize, I think, lower HP if you mean the dash or
Yeah, the lowest HP target, sure. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
no, it does a little damage. Sometimes you can last hit someone low HP, but it it I think it might do little more damage to low HP as well, if
Yes,
I'm
so
correct.
that's the point. So Gale Force, the damage is increased by up to 50% based on their missing HP.
Okay.
So the point of Gale Force is you usually want to use it to execute a kill, like finish kill off.
Yeah. And mainly the idea of the dash is that you are able to stack your Darius passive and then use the Q dash to get the 5 stack on a backline target.
Yeah,
But as a jungle, Ghost is more useful than a flash
yeah.
as a Darius.
Right, so yeah, again, this Mundo's kind of insane.
Yep. I think somewhere around here the enemy Heimerdinger DC'd, and I think it was more of a rage quit than.
Yeah, probably. It does seem a tad bit tilted. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I think at that point the Mundo would just give up. So yeah, CS numbers are good. Now here we should probably just run straight drag. Oh, they surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So yeah, he was AFK. Yeah. So, in terms of huge mistakes, I think we covered them quite early on. I think the overall kind of pathing and where to go to is something to work on primarily. And then I really think this kind of build is something to try and wean your way off, along with kind of using your F keys too, like efficiently. So again, this was a very short game, so there's probably
Yes.
other really, really much more important issues going on in other games where you're losing. But yeah, those are the main kind of things that we took away from this game.
Yeah, and the build path that I have chosen to use is, of course, a snowbally one that with a lead, with the ability to outplay with the dash, of course, it helps in those situations. But when I'm behind or when my team is behind, this build will backfire most likely harder than a more HP oriented and more bang for the buck build
Yeah,
would.
yeah, exactly. So another thing I just noticed as well. Actually, I guess Blue Smite is kind of good on Darius.
Yeah, I think it's
I
how
think in
you
this
say.
game specifically, like Red would have been better because you don't really need to chase them as much. What you need to do is wait for them to jump on you and then do damage, right? So
Yeah, but well, at least for me, what I think about red and blue smite, I will always run the blue smite because I get so tilted. For example, if the Wukong at top lane would got away and I would not have been able to reach the hook. But on the situations, as you said, if the chase is or chase potential is not needed, and I'm going for 1v1 and I lose because the enemy Viego has red smite. Of course, that's annoying, but um, I get so fucking tilted if a kill that I would get with a blue smite goes away compared to
the
the losing what
The
we
thing
want.
is, though, you've already got Ghost.
Yeah.
So that's all you really need. Even if they flash away, it doesn't matter in some situations because you've got Ghost, so you can still catch up to them. So I'd say don't really worry about it as much. Because you can also, in your runes, you can also go Nimbus Cloak too.
Yes, that is option.
Yeah, I think that's the best runes to go when you want Darius Jungle. Conqueror, Triumph, and then usually Tenacity. It's just going to serve you well. Last Stand's really nice if you're into heavy hitting teams. And then I think going Celerity and Nimbus Cloak is just always the best option, I think. Because you don't need Blue Smite anymore then. Because with your Ghost and Red Smiting them, you'll get way enough move speed in order to run them down.
Yeah. That could definitely be the case.
Yeah. So yeah, I think probably focus on that for now. See how that goes. I'll end the recording here.